so excited to share that through Executive Endurance Coaching, I've officially joined Never Second's Coach and Nutritionist program. Never Second is a science-driven performance nutrition brand built specifically for endurance athletes. I've personally been using their fueling system for years in my own training, and I love how simple, precise their approach to carbohydrate fueling is for runners, cyclists, triathletes, you name it. And today, if you want to try Never Second for yourself, our listeners can get 15% off by using the code GRIT15 at checkout. GRIT 15 at checkout. Just head to never2.com and start fueling your training with intention. This episode is brought to you by Koya Performance for Life. Koya combines wearable technology with behavioral science to help you unlock more energy and perform at the highest level. Their coaches have worked with Olympians, Super Bowl MVPs, World Series champions, and other elite performers. Their 12-week program focuses on sleep, exercise, nutrition, mindset, and recovery, blending biometric data from wearables like Oura, Whoop, or Garmin with one-on-one coaching from a team that includes a dietitian, sleep coach, movement specialist, and mental performance coach. I'll personally be participating in their March cohort and will be sharing updates with you along the way so you can hear exactly what the experience is like. Grit Files listeners today receive 33% off the program using the code AGRANDOFF. Visit koya.life to learn more. Welcome to episode 1, season 2 of the Grit Files. This is exciting times. Nicole didn't even know that she was going to be a part of this today. But this is officially season 2. And today we have Nicole Hackett, who is a fellow ex-John Carroll high schooler, also local to Harford County, a runner, which is really exciting for me, and a biochemical patent agent. So how that ties into all of this, we'll have to talk about. But
plot twist.
She has an upcoming book release called Mom Brain that is all the buzz right now. Nicole Hackett, welcome to the Grit Files.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're really excited. So before we get into the book and all of the nitty-gritty behind it, when you became a mom, and I feel like this is a question that we all internally kind of ask ourselves, but no one actually says it out loud. But when you became a mom, there was obviously a shift. Did you feel like you were becoming more of yourself or like you lost yourself in that?
I was afraid of losing myself.
Yeah.
Like, I always knew I wanted to be a mom, but when it became real, like when we decided we were going to have kids, I was like terrified.
Yeah.
I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to do it pretty much. Like I was
we're leaving this and there's no test.
Right.
There's no like
They're just going to let me do this. Yeah.
I have to keep this thing alive.
Right. Yeah. Like
my plant just died this week.
So unqualified. Yeah. But what I was afraid of is like, I am like very focused, like type A, like really into success. And I remember having this conversation with my husband. I was like, what if I like can't focus my energy onto a kid? Like, what if I'm so focused on my goals that like I can't be like what you think of a mother, like centering your child. And I was like terrified because like what if I can't emotionally get there? So one thing that has changed though is like when I had him, it was so easy. Like whatever happened in my brain, like I don't have to like try to focus on them or center them and everything.
Natural.
Yeah, it's like my brain, like I mean, mom brain, like it literally, my brain has like restructured in such a way that like they are my top priority, just like without me trying.
Right.
So in a way, like I don't know if it feels more like me. It feels like a different me.
Yeah.
And I do like it. I feel like it has helped me, and I mean, it helps me obviously with the kids to, you know, be putting them as a priority. But I feel like in a way it has also helped me in other ways, just like as a person, having my focus outside of myself on something else. Like I do like this version of me better. Yeah.
And it's a spoiler alert because we're getting into this a little bit later. But you almost realize that both can be true. Like I think when you're getting ready to become a mom and shortly after you become one, you have this panic where you're like, oh my God, I have to choose. Like I either have to let go of this version of who I am to become this new person, or like you have to pick yourself or them.
Right.
Or each other, you know.
Right, yeah.
Even. There's like a thought of like, oh God, we're going to lose each other in this too.
Right,
with the kids. And both can be true. And you kind of naturally do learn that. So we'll get into that too. But when did you first notice that motherhood was changing you?
It was kind of a slow process. I mean, because in the early days with having my son, I have 2 kids. And when the early days with having my son, it was just a haze. Like I didn't really have time for self-reflection, right?
If you have time for a shower, probably not.
I was like focused on survival. But like I would say probably when he was a little bit older, and especially after having my daughter, because that's when I wrote Mom Brain, is after I had my daughter.
So the second.
The second, yes. So I had my son, had my daughter 2 years later. And I noticed it after I listened to a podcast about mom brain, about what happens to your brain. And I was like, that makes so much sense. And I started like realizing how I had changed. And I was lining that up with what I had heard on this podcast. And I was like, I am so much different. So you don't notice it as it's going on.
Right.
But like when I heard the podcast, it all kind of clicked. I'm like, this has definitely changed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And when was there like a moment where, maybe in a good way even, you're like, oh, I don't recognize myself anymore. Like the person that I was before this, I am different. And it happened, like you said, slowly. But was there a day that you woke up and you were like, huh, I've shifted?
Well, one thing I do think about, and so all my friends who know me before having kids, I have some lifelong friends, and they always joke that like I didn't have emotions when I was, like I mean, I had emotions,
like,
but I just,
smile.
it was,
This is
we're
funny.
like, yeah. And like I just didn't show emotions. I was just very straight faced. But I think now, like I can cry at anything.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes, like
Same.
a diaper commercial. Yes, it's like a Pampers
like a lion head, where they mailed the lion, like an Amazon commercial.
Oh,
that they
I don't
put it on
even-
for the kid, and I'm like, why am I sobbing?
Yeah.
What?
There was a car commercial, and it was a car commercial, and like the couple gets older, and then they see that like they like replay their lives, and I'm like sitting in like a Starbucks parking lot, like just bawling,
Yes.
like I'm like my kids are not even grown yet,
Yes. Or the commercials that fast forward and you see the different phases of your life.
yes, that was it. That's what it was.
God.
I was like,
you
I
don't
can't.
think about it, but you imagine yourself in each of those phases when you are seeing them off to college, or when
Yes.
you see them throw their graduation cap up. You're like, oh my God, how am I going to survive?
Right. Yeah. Yes. I can't. When I'm like, how
Yes.
did my parents let me go to college? I'm like, I
Yes.
can't. And so when at that point, because now when I'm like crying at the Olympics, because I'm like, oh, their moms are so proud.
Yes.
Like, I'm like,
The
okay.
videos they submit, I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
Nope.
And like, but the previous me, I would have seen that and I'd been like, I would imagine myself as the athlete. And I'm like, oh, I hope they do well.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking of their moms and I'm like, they
Yes.
must be so proud. And that's moments like that when I realized that like I am doing things like that I had not done before. I was like, this is real.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned the commercials because I feel like that's when I started to notice it too. Even the early days when I'm sitting there holding Emmy and these commercials come on, it was like so confusing to me because I was like, hold on, am I feeling? It's like the Grinch.
Is this an emotion?
Ooh. This is weird. I'm looking down at her and I'm like, hey, changing me.
That's so funny.
We joke about this whole concept of mom brain. Everybody talks about it. It's a term that we all use. And I think what's typically associated to mom brain is this like frazzle, this like brain fog, barely keeping afloat, unorganized, But what can you talk to us about what actually is occurring in mom brain that you learned early when you were developing this book?
Yeah. So when I'd heard mom brain before, it was like that. It was like sleep deprived and you're just like leaving your keys in the fridge, like that kind of stuff. But what I learned is what happens, and I've seen 2 different things. It's either the biggest change or the second biggest change in your brain after puberty. And what happens is there's this thing called like synaptic pruning. And basically like your brain has got a bunch of neurons and there's like connections, synapses, and all your thoughts are just like little electrical impulses. And when you become a mom, like it just starts cutting them. It's like, we don't need this. We don't need that. Because it's like focusing you. It's like focusing you on like new things. So it's building new synapses, but it's like focusing you on, what you'll need to raise a child. And so
literally rewiring to focus on your child.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, it's good because you need it. And so like, I mean, some of the rewiring stuff it has been shown that like moms have more like empathy than they did beforehand because it kind of like strengthens those like little channels, like the empathy channels. But it is real because like it cuts things if the brain's like, oh, we didn't use this. We're not, so like you can be more forgetful because your brain's just like, I've cut this channel, right. But then it strengthens other parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that we lose sight of is like the immediate thought is like, oh my gosh, I'm losing thought processes, but really you're prioritizing. Like that's the real root of it is that yes, you might be forgetting these minor things, the keys, but the keys are so low priority at this point that it's like,
Right.
It's not even a thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Your brain is like saying we don't need this that much.
It's not a negative thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's literally just creating space for you to prioritize
Yeah.
your child and anything tied to your child.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like the constant mental load moms feel, do you think that that's more dysfunction or design, having gone through this mom brain feeling?
I feel like it's probably a little bit of both. I mean, I think if you think about it, like when your brain is developing, it wasn't developed for like the modern world,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like usually until very recently, moms, all they were doing was just raising their kids. So
Yeah.
like having focus on just your kids was all you needed. And so I do think part of what moms feel today is not necessarily their brain. It's like what we're expecting of moms, and your brain is wired to focus on your kids. But
Right.
then in society now, you're also expected to focus on like your emails, you know?
All of the things.
Yeah.
And performance and looking good right after you have a child.
It's too much. It's too
It's too much. Why are we doing this to each other?
Exactly. Well, and that was the message that I wanted with my book. It's like the problem is not your mom brain. Like your mom brain is a tool.
Right.
And it is highly specialized for one task. I mean, well, not one task, but it's highly specialized for a task.
Right.
And it's like society is viewing it as like you are not performing these other tasks, but that is like society looking at the mom brain and saying a fish is not flying, you know what I mean?
Right.
But like the fish is really good at swimming, and so just have the fish swim instead of saying the fish should also fly.
Yes.
So it's society is the reason that we think mom brains are broken, but it's not like the mom brain is doing what the mom brain is meant to do, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a negative thing. And that was kind of my next question is why you feel so many women interpret these changes as something going wrong.
Right.
Like this is not anything going wrong. This is your brain prioritizing you for the right
Exactly.
purpose.
Exactly. And I mean, like some of the changes, and one thing that I have thought about too is like I feel like I am more, I don't know if empathetic's the right word, but I feel other people's like feelings more. But in a way, like it has helped me with my kids because now when they're like freaking out, I can kind of like feel what they're feeling.
Put yourself there
I can.
differently.
Yeah. It's like
Yes.
what you're crying about's ridiculous, but like I can see your emotion, you know? But in a way, like it has helped me in other areas, you know, like writing a book. Like you have to be able to write a believable character. You kind of have to imagine what these people feel.
Yeah.
And I feel like so not that I'm saying you should have kids to be a good author, but I feel like
But also have kids to be a good author.
maybe it helps. But like it has helped in a way because I have this new side of me that like sees the emotion of other people and I can understand it better than I could previously. And I feel like it has helped me in my writing. So in a way, it's a strength for raising kids, but it is a strength. It depends on how you apply it, but it's a strength for other things too, you know? So it's like it helps you with kids, but it could make you better in unrelated ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I find myself doing that with Emerson too. You know, if she comes home and there's a situation where somebody made her feel a certain way, it lands so differently with me now. Before I would have been like, oh, well, just tell them, don't say that to you, or whatever. But now you're putting yourself in their body and imagining what they might feel and helping them to you're co-creating with them a response to this situation.
And you're much better able to respond because like even if you don't understand why they're so upset about that thing, like you can feel their feeling. Yeah. And so and you're an adult who's had those feelings before, so you can like kind of help them navigate it, even if you're like the reason is kind of
And I feel like our generation too, maybe this is just selective perception, but I feel like our generation is a little bit more empathetic in nature. I think we just have different tooling maybe than what our parents had to have those conversations.
Yeah.
But we are much more empathetic. We are much more willing to sit and be like, well, tell me why you thought of it this way. Or, you know, for me, when she comes home and she does poorly on a test, which doesn't happen often, but it did just happen this past week. My knee-jerk reaction was to be like, how did you fail this? Like, we studied this. What do you like? But I actually had that moment hit where I was like, all right, what did I feel like when I came home and my dad was disappointed with me in failing a math test and was like, well, you need to pass the next one. And that was kind of it. Like, but I took a step back and was like, how do you feel about having not passed this test? And it just stirs up a different emotion. And you're able to have this open dialogue about like, all right, well, what can we do together to help you do better next time? Yeah. Not like, I'm disappointed in you. And now that's like an instilled feeling in them that you're creating disappointment in your parent.
Absolutely.
Not forget about how they feel. But like those conversations are so much more meaningful now because you want to know how they are feeling in a situation.
Yeah.
I didn't have that before.
I think it is a generational thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it is, but I feel like, have you ever seen Dr. Becky on Instagram?
Yes.
For some reason, she's always on my screen, but
always.
but I feel like
algorithm thing.
yeah, I guess so. They're like, you really need Dr.
Yes.
Becky. But I feel like there are a lot of people like that who
Yeah.
are, and I don't know what it is, maybe just the natural way that things progress, but I totally agree. I think that our generation is much better at it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What are the actual strengths that you think come from mom brain, aside from this ability to prioritize? What are some of like the superpowers out of this mom brain that people are maybe overlooking because they're seeing it as dysfunction?
Yeah. I think that the biggest one that I always harp on is this able to connect with people. And it helps with the writing. But I mean, it helps in like, I have like a job in a law firm, but it helps with me. I'm better able to communicate than I was previously. I just feel like I have an easier time connecting with people. And it helps. I mean, moms, talking about this book specifically, a couple weeks ago, I'm part of a local moms Facebook group.
Yeah.
And I shared it with them, and they just like, they networked and communicated, and they like shot it up to like the bestseller chart on Amazon.
Oh, I saw.
Yeah, and it's like, but like I feel like when people talk about like mom groups, it's like almost like in a dismissive way.
Yes.
Like we're just like, have you seen Mad Men? And
Yes.
like the wives just like sitting around drinking, like not doing anything important. But like I like this example is because like we were just talking, and they were sharing with their groups and like doing what moms do, supporting each other, sharing things. But like the effect was something that like you pay publicists for in the like to have your book, especially it was a couple weeks before publication, to go up that high. Like the effect was not a joke at all. Like we actually sold books in a way that like, and no one paid us to do that, you know, it's just doing what moms do. So I feel like you should not be dismissive of the mom groups.
Yep. Totally agree. I have a book coming out the same week, and I was like, we need to do things differently because you're shut up so quick.
It did.
Like, this is amazing. The power of moms just being moms, because you don't know who you know. Everybody knows somebody different in a different capacity.
Right. Exactly.
And when we decide to work together to get something done, we're kind of unstoppable.
Absolutely. Like I feel like just the power of mom groups. Like if we harness that power to like any problem, we'd be good.
Yeah. I want to skip ahead to kind of bringing in the grit part of this, but why does motherhood feel like a loss in identity for so many women, do you think?
I think it's maybe the expectations that they have. Like they have seen themselves in as a certain way, and when that they are different, and then they probably are going to be different. I think it's probably more just not being able to see the strengths in who they are. Like they're just comparing to how they were before. And in a way, you've lost some things. Yeah. So it's not totally inaccurate to say that it's a loss of identity, because in a way you have. But it's more...
It's like a building of a new identity.
Yeah. And I mean, like, there are parts of the old me. It's not like I'm, like, totally different. But I feel like if I had just held on to that previous version of me, then I think that I would probably view mom brain a little bit differently. Yeah. But it's, like, shifting your focus and shifting how you see it, I guess.
Yeah. And I want to put this out there because I feel like I remember this, and Emmy's going to be 8 this week. So this was a while ago that I started feeling this, but I feel like it's doubly so now. Maybe we're circling back to being a little bit more understanding of each other and being more real, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I remember like scrolling through Instagram when I had just had Emmy, and the pressure of like even just needing to put on a bathing suit by the summer, because I had her in April, and everyone's like, oh, the first thing that people were saying to me was, oh, April's perfect because you'll have plenty of time to get in a bathing suit by the summer. Yeah. And I was like, no, wait, I can put a bathing suit on this summer?
I'm literally wearing a diaper right now, like, so yeah.
Yes. I was like, I just made a salami sandwich in my underwear. So you'll learn, Maureen. You'll know what this is about. But that was like the immediate thing that society was focused on. It was like this like bounce back. And we're doing it to each other. It's not like men that are saying like, oh, this is great. You'll be able to put on a bathing suit. We are doing this to other moms and being like, oh my gosh, well, you'll have no problem. Just set them outside the shower and you'll be able to put your makeup on.
Right.
Yeah. You don't need to put your makeup on.
Yeah.
Like, you don't
you can
have to some days. Like that's fine if you have the energy to do it some days, but it's okay to not some days too. We can talk about the days where we didn't have time to shower because those do happen. We can talk about not necessarily feeling like we're ready to go back to the gym within 3 weeks or whatever it is.
Mhm.
But we're kind of putting this pressure on each other. And I'm like, why are we doing that? Because
Yeah.
we're creating it within ourselves.
Right.
So can we start sharing
Right.
the, like, actually, guys, I'm probably still going to be in a diaper 3
Yeah.
weeks from now. I'm not going to put on a bathing suit because I'm
Diaper
wearing
chic,
a diaper with my child. But did you notice that yourself too? Is like, why are we creating this pressure for ourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's probably social media, just because
Yeah.
that's what social media does to everything, and it's like the pressure is just amplified. And then also like I'm like a person who like wants to just be the best at like whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
So like it was like natural for me where it's like, well, I'm gonna just crush motherhood, you know? And so I put that pressure on myself. And then of course there's like, I mean, you can find anything on social media, but yeah, the algorithm feeds me, you know,
Yeah.
how you can crush motherhood and kind of internalize that. Yeah, I don't know how you fix that too. I think that we are kind of getting better at it, or maybe I'm training my algorithm correctly. Like I think mothers are really recently probably sharing a little bit more of the
Yes.
vulnerable side, but like I feel like we still have a, a long way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think too, there's this thought, maybe it's just in my brain, but I think we're similar in this way. But I think, we see past generations as like too soft, too passive.
Mhm.
So there's this like resistance to this softness that happens in motherhood, and that empathy piece.
Yeah.
When like you can still be a badass.
Yeah.
And then allow this softening to
Right.
happen. Like you can be an empathetic person and still crush your professional life.
Absolutely.
Or, or your competitive life. Those things can all coexist.
Mhm.
One might falter a little bit.
Yeah,
depending on the day, but like this resistance to be soft, you can be both.
Yeah, you can be
You
both.
can allow them to coexist.
Right. And the softness can like help in ways. Like I just feel like they can work together. Like it doesn't have to be always this or that, you know?
Right.
And I feel like I've seen that in my own life. Like I still have my job. It's like in a law firm, you know, but like I'm able then to after work, play with my kids and like watch my daughter do like a ballerina dance or whatever.
Right.
Like you can do. Yeah.
Sweet cartwheel.
Right, yeah.
Give a appreciation for ugly cartwheels.
The tricks that they do, yeah.
Oh my God. So I want to get into the book now. What made you feel like this story needed to be told? Like, yes, we all talk about mom brain. We joke about it. We all are experiencing this. It's a shared experience. But really, there really hasn't been, I don't think, that I'm aware of, a book like this. So what made you go, this needs to be told?
Yeah, I think it was that moment. Like shortly after having my daughter and I read this science, like I feel like it just changed how I thought about it. And so that's how I really started the book. Like it started with the science. And the book, it is a novel. So it's like a drama thriller type thing, but it has like
mom's love.
Yeah, exactly.
We're here
but it has
9 Perfect Strangers, think White Lotus.
Right. Yeah. And like people, you always want like a vacation gone wrong type thing.
Yep.
But it has like the actual science in there. Like there's studies on like mom brain, and like it's not like super textbook, but like I actually incorporated these studies into it and the science into it, and I thought that was important to me because I wanted this book is entertaining, but I do want it to actually have a point, like have a message, and I thought like having the science in there was kind of like it supported my point, you know?
Yeah, I think too we're in this generation that likes data. We understand, like, as these things happen, you want something to tie it to be like, oh, I'm acting this crazy because this is what's going on in my body. This is what's going on in my brain. So it's nice to have that element kind of snuck in there in the drama piece because it makes it digestible and people have an answer as to why their brain is going through this phase, this change.
Yeah.
What does mom brain as a superpower look like in a novel? So, like, talk about that element of this, because you kind of flip it where it's not necessarily a loss of identity. It's not necessarily this terrible thing, but you've kind of made it into a superpower. So what does that look like in the novel?
Yeah, so I don't want to give away any spoilers, but in the beginning of the book, the main character makes a decision that is probably fueled by her mom brain. It's kind of like the empathy thing. She makes a choice that she's doing for someone else and ends up blowing up in her face. And that's kind of like the premise, like the beginning of the novel. And so she goes to this retreat, and the retreat like tells her, the leader of the retreat says that the reason that your life sucks is because you have a mom brain and you made this decision based on your mom brain, and that's all the source of your problems, and we're going to fix that. And by the end of the novel, I don't want to give away exactly what happens, but by the end of the novel, she realizes the decision she made was not necessarily the wrong choice. And she goes so far as to purposefully make that decision again. And she realizes that over the course of losing her mom brain and seeing how that affects her. So the story kind of starts with her thinking it's a problem, being told that it is a problem, and then her learning for herself. Pretty much what we've been saying that it's not actually her brain's not actually the problem.
I feel like this happens in real life too. I know when I was in corporate, and it's been a minute since I was, but when I was in corporate, that was a pretty common thing that people would say is, oh, like, well, it was probably a mom brain. And people joke, they say it passively.
Yeah.
But when you are, especially at like a strategic level, if you're an executive level or VP, like people will be like, well, she's a mom. That's probably why she's acting like that. And I'm like, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Decision. Yes, what? We could.
What do you mean? So what do you hope moms feel when they are reading this book?
I hope that they see it the way that I saw it after I learned all this, that I'm like, I can use this for my own benefit, that I'm not broken, that like I am different, and it's real. Like, I mean, it's real to the extent that like researchers can look at brain scans and like they can tell which one is the mom. So like it is.
That's so cool though.
It is cool. It's crazy. Like the fact that just the structural changes that are so real that you can see it, you know? So I guess I would like them to feel like validated. Like you're not just sleep deprived, like your brain is different. Right. But then I want them to see that like that doesn't have to hold you back, you know?
I love that. And who is this book really for outside of the moms? Like, is this a book that even dads could read and understand better? Is this, who is it really aimed for?
Yeah, I really think that, I mean, moms, I think will get it immediately, but I think that it could be for anyone. Like, I'm sure that there are people who are told that there's something about them, the way they are, that it's broken, and that's the source of your problems. And if you can just fix that, like, your life will be better.
Yeah.
And I would be hopeful that someone could read this and, like, reframe whatever it is, that, like, they could see it not as, like, a flaw, but, like, as a superpower, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you need to be a coach.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's the true calling. Outside of author, outside of patent.
Just add it to the list. Okay.
Just add it there. So I know there's so many that are in different phases of motherhood right now. Someone somewhere is going through the thick of it. So if a mom listening feels overwhelmed or like she's not as sharp as she used to be, what would you want her to know about herself in that moment?
I think that they will adapt to it. I feel like especially in the early days, it is a lot of change, and like you're kind of getting used to this new version of you. Mm-hmm. And so it can definitely feel overwhelming. And then we've talked about the pressure of like society puts on you. But I think that you will learn how to navigate the world as this new person. And so just, if you need to focus on what you need to focus on, maybe cut things down as you're learning. But I think that it is important to tell people that like you can do this pretty much. Yeah.
That's almost perfectly timed because every time that we have somebody on the podcast, I have a quote behind me. And for anybody that's listening that can't see, the quote today is, "You worry too much for someone who figures it out every single time."
That's perfect.
And I feel like that's so true of moms. Like, as bad as you think it is, as flustered or as confused as you feel like you are in that moment, you're a mom and you're going to figure it out. Like, that is the superpower, is that everything is figure outable. Mm-hmm. And if you personally can't figure it out, this network of moms, like, it's so cliche to say, but it is a freaking village. There is somebody that has felt that same way. There's somebody that's going through something identical. Mm-hmm. It's just our willingness to be vulnerable enough to share it and to help build each other up, because like we've seen with your book, if we want to get it done, Absolutely. We get it done. We figure it out as moms.
Absolutely.
What does it look like to trust the version of yourself that motherhood is shaping? Like, it's really hard to know, like, this too shall pass. I'm going to be stronger for this. But what does it look like to, like, lean into that trust in yourself?
Yeah, that's something that I do struggle with personally, because, I mean, I have many things going on, and I do have a lot of, like, doubt. Sometimes I'm like, am I worrying too much about work? And I'm letting my kids down. And sometimes it's like the opposite. Am I like, because I have to skip work to go to like mini muffin day, you know? And I'm like, okay, well.
The mini muffins are really freaking good, though. They are.
Yeah, they are really good. I love the mini muffin day. There are a lot of but I love a muffin. So, and so like I'm just constantly plagued with doubt because there's so many things to juggle, and I'm like, what am I letting down? But I mean, that quote like really says it all. Like up until this point, like we've handled it, and that you will figure it out as you go along. And I feel like as a mom, that is what you do, because like I think that parents will know that like nothing can prepare you for like what happens. Like the ridiculous situations, and I'm like, I have never heard of this ever happening. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Like I didn't even know this was an option of things that could happen. But you figure it out, you know? So I feel like that's the takeaway. It's like if you're feeling like you are struggling to make it all work, just know that you are designed to figure it out, and you will figure it out.
Yeah. And this state of confusion is totally normal, especially for a very first time parent. That was a wild feeling too. It's like I left the hospital and the nurses kind of talked to me in a way as if I had done it before.
I know.
Like, hi, I've actually never done this.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
They like handed the baby and they're like, all right, breast is best, start working. And I'm like, I've actually, I've never done this. So you will figure it out, but like no one is expecting you to have all of the answers. And I think similar to somebody who's like newly promoted into a leadership role, the immediate thought is that they need to take it all on and they need to own all of it and do all of it. You can still delegate as a mom. You can still ask for help. And it's okay to be learning something.
Yeah.
You know, that's all part of it. You're going to feel confused as you're learning this new thing.
And everyone is learning. I feel like maybe that's the thing that social media takes from us is like, everyone is going through this. We don't know what we're doing. I mean, you can't. Before you have a kid, you can't know. Not really.
No.
And so we're all just winging it. And we're, you know, so if you are winging it, like that's not a flaw. That's just what it is to be a mom. It's what it is to be a human, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, let's not shame anybody who we see winging it, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay? If we see the mom carrying 18,000 bags and the pacifier drops on the floor, don't be like, ew, you're going to put that back in her mouth. Gracefully pick up the pacifier and be like, I got you.
Exactly.
You know, like,
pick up the pacifier. Yes.
Let's see. So I think what we've come to now is that mom brain isn't something that we fix. Maybe it's something to just understand. So it's the very thing making you more capable of what you've never imagined yourself being, which I love. So what is the one moment in motherhood where you had to dig deeper than you thought possible? And what do you think it's revealed about you that maybe somebody else will find out about themselves in going through this process?
So I think that the hardest thing for motherhood was letting go of control. Like in my life, I have struggled with, I need everything to be a certain way. Everything has to be in order. I have to be doing everything perfectly. And there have been some times with my kids, especially when my son was younger, like he had just some weird health stuff. Like this is very random.
That was a test for you, for sure.
It was a test.
Like, she likes control. We're going to give her a situation that she has none of that.
Exactly. Like we were like in the, he like swallowed a straw. And this sounds so random, but it was like all night in the hospital. And I was like, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know how this happened. Like, I don't know what's going to happen next. I had just had my daughter. So like I have the newborn at home and like my friend is watching the newborn. And in that moment, like I had to just be like, I can't control this. Like, I am just going to have to take this like step by step. I'm just going to have to like let it go. And I feel like that in that moment, I think it has been a progression of letting things go. But I think that was like the biggest moment where I'm like, you can do that. You can be like that. Like you can let it go and you can just handle it as it comes. So.
And almost a little bit of like the pressure's off, you know, like.
Yeah.
You're not going to be, I think the more you hold on to this need to control, the more disappointed you'll find yourselves in situations because it's just not meant to happen. You're just not meant to be able to control all things.
Right.
So the second that you're like, okay, I just can't control this moment, you're almost, I don't know, it's like graceful in a way. And like the pressure comes off and you're able to soften a little bit in those moments.
I feel like it has changed me, and not just with my kids. Like I feel like I am better able in life just to let it go and let it be and not have to grip everything so hard. And I feel like, that's something that I did not expect before having kids. Like I would have never expected that to be, you know, what happens to me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if somebody wants to get in touch with you, I know that by the time this airs, the book will have released. It releases April 21st, available on Amazon. It's already like an Amazon bestseller before it's even really officially released, which is crazy. But if somebody wants to get in touch with you, either to talk about Mom Brain or maybe to show up for an event to promote Mom Brain and have the book there, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm on Instagram a lot. So
Yes.
it's Nicole Hackett Books. DM me there. I'll probably see it. And then I also, on my website, there's a little like contact form and it sends me an email, and that's NicoleHackettBooks.com. So I would love to hear from anyone. Yeah.
Awesome. Nicole, I am so glad that we're having this conversation. I think so many people are going to benefit from it. And I'm just so happy that we met. This
Well,
was a
I
great
know.
connection. So for anyone who's looking to learn a little bit more about what's going on in your brain, pick up a copy of Mom Brain, April 21st. Nicole, it's been a pleasure having you. And you've been tuned into the Grit Files. I'm your host, Laura Reynolds.